So who's number one just happened where the best high school kids in the country all battle for the number one ranking, or in some weight classes like with Jax Forrest, the number two ranking, right? Because obviously no one's going to be ranked above him. But a lot of cool things. I typically focus on college film just because if it's at the collegiate level, especially since most of it is the Division 1 level, no one can say it's not good wrestling. So that's why I don't do as much high school. But I hit events like Who's Number One because obviously these are the best wrestlers in the country. A lot of lessons to learn, a lot of clips to look at. Let's get into it. First things first. A lot of things with Turks and navies, right? In this event that I really, really wanted to highlight because that's been something I've been looking at a lot. So right here, you can see him work towards the split leg Turk and actually use his foot right here to get it. Now, he doesn't end up keeping it. Mendoza does a good job of getting out of it, but something that he was looking for. This next clip here with Paul Kenny. So Paul Kenny ends up with on in a head inside single and gets Mills on his hip. Now he's going to end up when Mills is trying to turn away from him. He's going to use the Navy to turn Mills back into him. And when that happens, you want to switch to the new bottom leg for the arm Turk. Now, I've made multiple videos about this. I have a video on Instagram going over this. He ends up with the arm Turk and tries to use it with a half. And when he doesn't get the half, he still has the arm Turk, which is a great position. And he ended up doing my worst nightmare. He ended up stepping over the legs and taking his arm out. You don't want to do that, guys. The arm Turk is such a dominant position. And even the number two wrestler in the country can be making this mistake. So that's something you really want to watch out for. This is Jaden Rainey versus Moses Mendoza. Back to the first match. He goes double into a head inside single. Anytime you go head inside single, if you can go do any form of a cutback, anything that takes your opponent from that position and puts them on their hip, you are in a great position for some type of Turk or Navy, depending on if they try to turn into you or turn away from you. So right here, head inside single, and he ends up putting Mendoza on his hip. And in this position, a lot of wrestlers, they will keep their, so let's say in this example here, his right arm is outside the leg, his left arm is between the legs. A lot of wrestlers, really most wrestlers, will take out their left arm that's between the legs and grab the other leg for a double leg finish. I have no idea why this is a thing, really. You should keep the arm that's between the legs inside the legs and let go with your outside arm and try to chase the head or half or something, right? Which is the Rainey brothers are really good at this. You will see him keep this arm, and now his arm is free, and he ends up getting a bottom leg cradle. That's how Jordan Rainey ended up pinning Bo Bassett at Fargo like 3 years ago. I'm pretty sure that was in 2022. This is a really good habit to have. This is what you want to do. A lot of people make that mistake. This is Melvin Miller. He ends up in like a body Turk position on accident because whenever people try to do this funk roll, then some type of Turk slash Navy ends up being available pretty often. You can see here. You can see here as well. He's in the body Turk position. You get that knee inside, you escape the Turk. So that's just the way you defend a Turk. Now this is Emma Bacon versus Kaylee Graber. I didn't even plan on watching the girls' matches, if I'm being honest. But I saw the ending clip, and I was like, let me watch the girls' matches because I'm just interested in it. And I'm really glad I did because I got just as much film from them as I got from the guys. So head inside single, right? She's gonna end up doing a cutback. Now she ends up also reaching for a double. See, just what most people do. But she gets her leg inside for the Turk. So all things forgiven, right? She ends up getting split leg Turk and proving why it's so useful because she ends up getting exposure right here for 2 points. And that by itself is good now. But she ends up getting another exposure from the same Turk, which again, depending on the ref and the mat judge, some may say that Bacon, the girl on bottom, returned to a defensible position. Some may say she didn't, like right here. Some may call it defensible or not, but in this situation, it was considered defensible. So she was able to get 6 points off this single takedown. And this was one of the most, this was one of the more, like, one of the bigger upsets of the event. Again, later on, another head inside single, puts her on her hip, right? And she keeps her arm between the legs. And because Bacon tries to go turn away from her, that arm that's in between the legs, besides going to an arm Turk, she switches to a navy. And then she gets the reinforced navy, and that would have been another easy exposure if need be. But there was only like 2 seconds left. So, great. That's all the clips for Turks and navies that I wanted to go over, but a lot of it. This match starts overtime slide by off the whistle. Now, a lesson that I wanted that I can use this match for is, again, lower to upper is a great opportunity. I didn't import any other clips for this video. I'm only using the clips from this event. But if you follow my page, you know what I'm talking about. A lot of times when you're on the legs, and they're defending, the way people defend leg attacks, it leaves their body pretty open, especially with your traditional wizard, right? There's nothing stopping the person from going up from your leg to a seatbelt or underhook or anything of that nature. So let's look at how the two situations kind of played out. So this competitor ended up doing a sweep single. And once she's right here, as you can see, this arm that the other competitor is trying to use for a wizard, there's nothing blocking the girl in black from sliding her left hand up to the hip, which she ended up doing. There's no barrier to stop her, right? So she goes seatbelt, eventually side body lock, and it ends up going pretty well for her, right? So that was nice. Later on in the match, does a sweep single again. Now she has that same exact opportunity, but this time she's going to be determined to stay on the legs. Right? So she's really fighting to stay on the legs. And we don't really analyze situations like this where right here, I think, like just transition up, right? And as soon as you transition, be ready to go for another move like you did last time. But she stays in the leg. She ends up getting wizard down, face into the mat, gives up an easy go behind. And then she gave up 2 turns from parterre. So they end up being a 6-point exchange. And everybody can talk about situations where, oh, somebody went from lower to upper and they should have stayed on the legs. But no one talks about the situations where someone stayed on the leg when they actually should have went up the body. Because typically that's really hard to gauge. But I think in this match, it's a lot easier to gauge because we had just saw her do the exact thing from the exact same leg attack, right? There's that opposite thing of going off the leg up the body. So just a little bit food for thought. This was like another sweep single. Um, this girl ended up moving well to catch the leg, but she left her arm up too long. Something that I go over a lot with my team because you don't want to typically go around the head if you can avoid it, just because they can grab your tricep and really force a stalemate from that position. So you want to have this little meat hook right here. But as soon as you get to the leg, you want to bring it down right here. Because if you leave it up too long, watch what happens. Now that arm is trapped, right? And you saw her give up the takedown really easily. The girl just kind of did a spinneroonie, you know? And then she tries to do a single leg attack, ends up getting caught with the underhook. That's going to happen a lot. And she uses that underhook to go into an arm spin, which I liked a lot. I have a kid on my team who would do a double leg, and if he gets caught with an underhook, he'll go to a fireman's or an arm throw. So that's pretty nice combination to use. What's next? What's next? Oh yeah, just that little fake that he did was really clean. It's almost not even like it's a fake, but it's like a feint, right? Look at how slight this is. You can see his position change. Wrestler in black, out of position, hands on the mat, and then he lateral movement to get around him. As soon as the match starts, overtop slide by, hands to the mat, to the leg attack. That was nice. Nice way to start off the match by Cam Howard. I'm gonna slow it down to show you the snap. Nice overtop snap. So they shake hands, collar tie, over tie. When he snaps, look at his head. The hand is on the neck, right? He tucks his chin into his chest. The hand slips right off the head. Why? Because there's nothing. What is there for him to hold on to? This is something that I've been preaching over and over again. And now I've just accepted the fact that this is something that I'm going to have to continue to preach, right? Because the wrestlers on my team really struggle with this for some odd reason. Gotta tuck your chin, right? Almost like you're looking in between your own legs. And then he had the hands on the mat. And once those hands hit the mat, defense is greatly compromised, right? Go to the leg. That was really good by Cam Howard, who ended up winning the match. Again, Ryan Mills, he does like an in and out, right? Had that inside tie, shoots when his opponent sprawls, he comes back out, and now his opponent is in bad position. Let's look at that again. So we know he has an inside tie. We're going to end up seeing it. Right here, has the grip on the tricep. Shoots. His opponent is sprawled out to protect his legs. Now he's in horrible position. Now look at this, right? And that's a split-second decision that you have to know that, oh, I can make this decision right now. And that just comes with repetitions. Just had a kid do that at the qualifier for Super 32. Had a really good in and out takedown. This match, I love this match. I mean, she had 4 takedowns, all from the underhook throw by, which is nice to see in the States, man. So nice to see at a high school event in the United States of America, somebody getting all 4 takedowns via underhook throw by. I love that technique. You don't always have to shoot. You don't always have to heel toe knee everything. There's so much more wrestling to be done. Looks like a Iranian, or a Russian. I mean, I made an Instagram post for you guys to follow me on Instagram, making my case that all these elite Russian guys that people can name, they all do underhook throw by, it seems like. Sidikov, Sajalayev, Rashidov, Duguev, David Bayev. Russia's last dominant year at the World Championship was their most dominant year ever, where they had 5 champions in 2019. They also had 5 champions another year too. But 2019, they had 5 champions. All 5 champions on a regular basis implement in high-level matches, implement the underhook throw by, like the entire team, which is crazy to think about. Can you imagine if Cal Dake, Cal Snyder, David Taylor, Jordan Burroughs, and Gable Steveson all did a certain technique? You don't think that technique would be super popular in wrestling rooms across the country? That's how it is with the underhook throw by. Really good move. And then there were two guy matches, but there was only 1 takedown, and they both came up from tie-up attacks. Right, this one an elbow control pass by, and this one is a nice arm drag to a snap single. So another thing I wanted to bring up: only 2 of the guys' matches had 1 takedown in the entire match, and it wasn't your traditional leg attack, right? It didn't have to hit their knee, and it didn't have to go underneath their opponent, which is nice. Very safe attacks. So those are the things I noticed at Who's Number One that I would make a video about, that I'm going to end up showing my guys during film. So I just thought I would share it with you guys. Thank you for staying to the end of the video, and I will see you on the next one.